Cool. So, welcome to this Hangout on Air. I'm Sam Burrow, and I'm joined by Ben Betts.
Martin.
Haha, got you there, Martin. Martin Cousins.
Hello.
And we are here to introduce and have a quick chat about the new Curatr MOOC, all about the xAPI. So, without further ado, Mr. Betts, why are we talking about this now?
So I think it's a really interesting time to be getting into the Experience API. The specification is over 2 years old. It's been around for 3 or 4 years in most people's minds. And there's increasing amounts of traction, increasing amount of use cases and talk about it. So now is really the time for people to start getting involved. You can really start doing stuff with it now. So I want people to join us in this experience to not only understand what's been done and what can be done, but also to not be too afraid of it being a bit of at the techie end of learning technology or learning generally speaking, because actually this has pretty profound implications for how we do learning and experience tracking and development online and offline for years to come. Now's the time to get involved.
So who's this course aimed at this time round? Do you have to be very techie to get a lot out of it?
No, in fact, if you're very techie, you won't get a lot out of this, I don't think. You know, a lot of people who are quite technical are reasonably comfortable reading the specification and getting involved. So if words like GitHub and JSON and things like that scare the bejesus out of you, or if you've never even heard of them, then this is probably the right place to be. So we're going to start really quite basic, but we're going to run it more like a conference so that you've got 2 different tracks that you can follow. And you don't have to just adopt one and stick with it. One will be more about the business elements and the future, looking at what experiences are bringing to learning. And obviously this is a huge topic for us because we're all about performance, we're all about 70-20-10 and all of this other stuff. And the Experience API is really an enabling piece for quite a lot of it. So there's going to be a business side to it and there'll be a tech side to it. And the tech side of it's going to introduce people to some of the broad concepts about how it works. It's going to talk about how it differentiates itself from SCORM, and it's going to allow you to start taking control of a bit of data yourself, start manipulating it, start creating new data, doing some data analysis and things like that. So the tech track's going to be really quite hands-on, but hopefully reasonably accessible.
So what are people going to need to do to get involved this time? Like you said, it sounds a bit more hands-on, a bit more practical. Can you give us any sort of idea of the kind of practical things people will be able to do as part of this experience?
Sure. So the actual experience that we're going to run in Curatr, it's going to be this more conference-like approach, this massive open online conference than a course, to be honest. So each week you will be able to work through any of the content that's available. You won't necessarily need to complete that content in order to open up the next set of content, because we recognize that some people will either reach a limit of what they can do technically or lose interest in some of the aspects from the business side of it. So basically, we will open up the weeks 1 week at a time, regardless of whether or not you've completed the previous week. So you'll be able to get access to whatever you want to. The tech side of things will hopefully build. So we'll start off allowing you to integrate Curatr with a learning locker learning record store and allow you to sort of get in there and manipulate that data. I should note you'll be able to use any other learning record store that you had available to you. We're just going to give you one that's easy and talk you through it. And then we're also going to work with some great subject matter experts to try and get people to create some statements, to use some of the author tools that exist out in the wider ecosystem and to start building up that source of data. And then towards the end of it, we're going to start realizing what we can do with data, how we should design learning experiences with data in mind, and how we can prove efficacy, effectiveness, and performance by relating that data to our experiences.
Cool. And so you mentioned some various subject matter experts. Who are they that are going to be joining us?
So we're really lucky this time. We've managed to recruit a fantastic cadre of subject matter experts, and what we've got is Aaron Silvers, who's one of the founders of the xAPI movement. He's going to be joining us and talking in some of our live hangouts as well as being in the session. We've got Janet. Janet is going to be really leading the discussions around data, and this is what she does. She's all about how you can use data to prove effectiveness of learning experiences. Then we've got Sean and Brian, and Sean and Brian are just the right people to talk to if you want to get an intro into how you can develop and how you can do things with xAPI. So these guys are developers, but they're very hands-on and they're very approachable. So when we've got issues and technical things that people want to work through, Brian and Sean are going to be the two that really get involved and help people out.
Cool, that sounds good. So, Martin, how are we going to be supporting this on social media this time?
Well, we've got our hashtag, which is, let me get this right, the Learn xAPI tag, and we've got 4 Twitter hashtags, 4 Twitter chats as well on that hashtag, as Ben was talking about. But so basically we're going to be doing a lot of the interaction in Twitter through the hashtag, and then we're going to be doing it within the MOOC as well. So because Curator's got that kind of that chat functionality, and then we've got some other live type events. But our experience of running these MOOCs has been that we can do a lot through Twitter, but we can do stuff within the MOOC and through email as well. So whether you're on Twitter or not, you can still be interacting with us. And we're kind of there as the Sherpas, I think, in some senses. As Ben's just described, we've got a whole host of people who are at the bleeding edge of this. So our job really is, I think, one, to keep it on the layman's terms as much as we can, so we don't run away with too much jargon. And 2, just to help people get to what they need to get to, so that they can get through all this. So yeah, I think we're there to help and guide, and we use all the usual tools to do that.
Cool, it should be good. So that pretty much covers it, I think. Ben, any final words before we sign off?
No, I'm really looking forward to this. I think this is going to be a really pivotal moment for the learning technology community, for xAPI. I really want this to be the turning point of when the masses got it and understood where it sits in the world. It might not be life-changing for you, but part of learning and development is your own personal learning and development, and you should at least get an appreciation for what this stuff is, and then you can make an informed judgment as to whether you like it or not.
Fantastic, thanks. So I'm certainly looking forward to expanding my knowledge of this area as well, because it's a really important topic for all of us. So look forward to seeing everybody in the MOOC starting on the 12th of May. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.
Cheers.